What is up, Impact Nation? I am your host, Jason, and this is another episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling show. Sorry it's coming out a day late, guys. I posted on Twitter letting everybody kind of know what was going on yesterday. Get home from work, and my wife surprised me with some of our friends to go out for my birthday. That was on the 11th, but which is why it was actually a big surprise. And but we were unable to go, just do anything on that day, working different schedules and stuff like that. So, put the video on hold, doing the review today, which is Saturday, and anyway, but on to the review, right? In this episode, I'm going to be talking about obviously my review, my thoughts on the July 13th episode, and also after this I'm going to give you guys my thoughts also on Dixie Carter being on on that Kurt Angle special, the possibility of her being on WWE TV going forward, and thanks to all you followers that follow me on at Anthem of Impact on Twitter, voted in the poll, and the topic of my discussion will also be pro wrestling hypocrites, which the Dixie Carter story is a perfect segue into the hypocrites of professional wrestling. Anyway, so we'll get into the show. I thought overall the show was really good. I put out the video of my thoughts and how I'm taking this whole Alberto El Patron and Paige stuff. So it doesn't affect me watching this show. Like, I'm not watching this show seeing Alberto and going, oh, he's such a wife beater, and look, it's an entertainment thing. There's a lot of people that in all forms of entertainment that are not good people, or at least not the best of people, and people still, they just don't know it, but so it doesn't affect me watching it. I'm not watching it pissed. I'm not watching it any different than I would be if the story didn't come out. If anything, I'm more disappointed that the story is out, because I think El Patron is doing some really good work in Impact. I think he's remotivated, and he's showing a lot of passion in both his promos and in his matches. His match has been great. So that's really the only thing that's changed about my viewership of the show, is being mad that hopefully I don't want this to affect how people view Impact and Global Force, especially since this comes right after rebranding and trying to get that stigma and the stink off the product. And now under Global Force, there's a new stink. So that's unfortunate. But if you guys want more detailed thoughts on my Alberto on the Alberto situation, I've got my video. Go check it out. So let's go through the show, shall we? The show opens up with Great Angel Spark arriving to the Impact Zone, and we find out that yes, it is about deportation, about visa problems with Grado. And Joseph Park says, listen, it might not be all ethical, but it is an idea. We need to get you married. So obviously we're going to see some great video packages on this throughout the night, and hopefully in weeks to come too. Then they also do a quick story recap of Alberto El Patron and his championship celebration, and then moving into is he possibly joining LAX. Which then we go inside the Impact Zone, and LAX does come out. Conan gets on his mic, does his little shtick, calls out the newest member of LAX, Alberto El Patron. Then, of course, Alberto comes out. They go back and forth on, what are you doing? You never asked me. Why are you telling everybody I'm a member of LAX? Conan's giving them reasons why. Well, look at the way they've, treated Mexicans throughout the wrestling business over, in Stanford or here previously with previous owners, blah, blah, blah. And Alberto still says no. And then, of course, uh, Conan doesn't like that. LAX jumps El Patron, and then who comes out to save Alberto but none other than Bobby Lashley? That's weird. Are we going to see a face turn for Bobby? I don't know. Could be. Um, but with this whole segment, I liked it. I thought it was really entertaining. Both guys were super passionate, especially Alberto. I thought his promo was just really passionate. Um, him calling Conan Carlos is, I thought, was really good. I kind of like it whenever sometimes they call each other kind of like the real names kind of thing, because this is definitely an adult product, and adults know what's going on. I don't think it's fully breaking kayfabe here, but it adds a little bit of realness, some authenticity to their background. I just think I just thought it was a really cool little thing. But that also set it up a main event of Lashley and El Patron versus LAX. Then we come back from commercial, and they do another little video package kind of recapping a lot of the good PR that they were getting from the aftermath of Slammiversary with D'Angelo Williams, how, you know, he was talking about Impact and Global Force Wrestling on all these different mainstream media platforms, ESPN, Fox Sports, Yahoo, all, you know, NFL Network, all this stuff. Then they also talked about how the mayor, Buddy Dyer, was there, naming it Impact Day, and then also their tribute to the unfortunate tragedy of the Pulse nightclub shootings. I thought that was really cool, and really a really touching moment seeing what, you know, that tribute to the Pulse nightclub victims. Stuff like that, the Pulse nightclub thing. It's just a little thing that shows, you know, Orlando's basically, you know, their home thing. I know they're based out of Nashville, but really it's Orlando now. And it has been obviously for a very long time. And whenever you can do these little things that shows outreach to the people that you're constantly performing in front of, you know, it makes it a more personal thing, and hopefully, you know, it will help build more fans and stuff like that. So I thought it was really good. Then we get into the first match of the night, and it's a first round matchup of the Super X Cup, ACH versus Adam Everett. I thought this match was really good. I thought it started off a little slow, not like overall, but at least for these two, because I know they both like to go real fast, especially ACH. And it started off just a little slow for what I was expecting out of these two. But the match overall was really good. Some crazy flips and spots by Adam Everett. And man, just ACH though, it's just super sick athletic. That kind of just all the flip. I mean, just everything he does is crazy good. And of course ACH wins. That's how it was a really good match. I still think, just something's telling me, I think Desmond Xavier's going to win it. Just the way that they keep talking about him. Even in this match, they talked about Desmond Xavier. I wouldn't be upset if ACH won either. I really like ACH, but regardless if ACH wins or not, I hope this leads to him signing with Impact and wrestles exclusively for Global Force Wrestling. I think that'd be really good. After that, we get the Gail Kim announcement, which she does announce that at the end of this year, at the end of 2017, she will be retiring. But she said that, you know, she's going to go out on top. You know, she's not done. She's not going to just sit around until the end of 2017 and then just retire. No. She's got a good run left in her. And I hope so. I hope they put the belt on her and give her a good run before it's done. Because I can't wait to see some matches with her and Sienna and Laurel Van Ness and Allie and Ava Story and MJ Jenkins and some of these other ones. I think it'd be really good. Of course, Gail's still got to, you know, get her matches in with Rosemary again. But you know, this is kind of a sad thing, man. To be all honest with you, because Gail is, to me, hands down, the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Period. You know, there's something about her that in a lot of women's wrestling, there's a lot of good matches and there's a lot of good things, but sometimes for me, it's a little too clunky sometimes. And what I mean by that is it feels very awkward whenever they're trying to do certain moves, because it's just like it just doesn't flow as easy whenever you see like the guys wrestle. And now, yeah, obviously guys botch and stuff. There's bad matches, but I never felt like that with Gail. I mean, the matches that she can pull off with people like Awesome Kong and Taryn Terrell, I mean, that's insane. And then she even had a couple good matches against the guys in Impact during that world title series thing that they did that led to Matt Hardy winning. It was just excuse me. I don't know. She just is really good. It sucks that she's gonna be hanging it up, but hopefully, she continues success with whatever she chooses to do outside of wrestling. She deserves a lot of success. She's great. As she's walking out, Chris Adonis comes walking to the ring, calls out the Swole Mates. This was the worst part of the night. This might even be one of the worst segments out of all the wrestling shows I watched all week. It's dumb. I hate whenever they do this stuff. I understand the cross promotion, and this might be something that Pop's throwing on them. Because, they've got that special show next Thursday right after Impact. Hopefully it pays off. Like, maybe, I don't know who these guys are, but hopefully it pays off. Maybe, whoever does like them and follows them will start watching Impact. If that's the case, then fine, cool. I just hate whenever you start doing the stuff where they get involved, like with the wrestlers. Trying to do a pose off, like Adonis, you're not that big anymore. I don't even think he was ever that big. And trying to do a pose off, like, okay, it's like be the equivalent if I challenged Adonis to a pose off. I ain't winning. It ain't happening. And it just makes them look small, makes them look dumb. Hopefully they don't get physical. I don't know. I bet they do. I could see it, and that would just suck. The only person they better be getting physical with is Adonis. Don't let them get near Eli Drake. For real. That would be a burial. But yeah, I hated that segment. That was just bad. But then after that, we got a good fun match with the minis from AAA. We had Dimas, also known as Damien 666, versus Octagacito. I thought this match was a lot of fun and a lot of crazy high spots. And Octagacito, I guess he's like really old, but good lord, could he fly around the ring? And they were just doing insane stuff. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a good match. It didn't have, it had no bearing on anything, but it was just a fun match to throw out there, and it kind of builds on the whole, global force of what this company is, and bringing in people from out, other countries and other promotions, and just showcasing them, and having these, random, just kind of fun matches to watch. The worst thing about this match, though, was that damn Impact crowd. Now I understand a lot of those guys there. I chat with them all the time on Twitter. I know they've got a lot of different podcasts themselves, and those are certain fans that love this company and will always, and are probably they're actually cheering and being good fans. Then there's those other people that it's like they're only there because that's what they like. It's what they do. You know what I mean? Like last night, we went out to a bar and hung out and chatted and had some drinks and some good times and great memory talks and all this stuff, right? Well, for a lot of these people, instead of going out to a bar and hanging out, they go to Impact Wrestling tapings because they're all wrestling fans. And you can tell that because, even in the first row, there's somebody in the first row just looking at their phone the whole time. Whenever it's a smaller crowd anyway and you're in a TV studio and you're watching, you can see what each individual fan is doing, and it just blows my mind. You guys know you're there, you're part of the show. you're supposed to be cheering. You're supposed to be, even if you don't like it, then boo. Just make some type of noise. Do something. Don't just be quiet and like they're all standing in like a circle. Like it just bugged me. Sorry, it just really bugged me. And during this match, because you could see like there's like 4 or 5 of them like all standing in a circle. 2 people that were in the front row fully turned around, like all trying to talk. You have another person like sitting there on the phone like this, not caring. I understand you might not care about this match, but then boo. Try to show some type of displeasure or something, and make some noise and show that you're into it. Because it makes everything look crap. And people that are trying to maybe get back into Impact Wrestling or start watching Impact Wrestling for the first time because they want to find something different than the WWE, they see them like, if they don't care, why should I care? And they're there. Click, change the channel. That's just the only thing. Usually I'm not too critical of the Impact crowd, because I'm not there and I don't know how they edit a lot of different things in different audios. But that, just looking at that, just like irked me to death. Like it just, it bugged me. So, but anyway, after that we get another backstage promo or backstage video package of Grado now trying to ask all these knockouts out on a date, and this was absolutely hilarious. I mean, my favorite part was whenever he was gonna ask Sienna, and he's like sitting right behind her, and then like he pokes his head out, and then she turns to him. He's like, "Ooh," I just thought that was hilarious. And then it ends with him going and asking Allie, and as Allie's kind of giving him a really long no, Braxton walks up, like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And when it really played up to this new, what I'm guessing is like a jealous, mean boyfriend gimmick that he's gonna have. We'll see where that goes. But it was a good job. They kind of utilized this situation to also further a different storyline. So I thought it was pretty good. After that, we get the Moose versus Marufuji match for the Grand Championship. EC3 comes out to do commentary, but he wasn't doing any commentary. They played up, he was just being quiet, and they kept playing that up, asking him questions. He wouldn't say anything. But as far as the match goes, I thought it was a really good match. And they kind of took from the 2 out of 3 falls match at Slammiversary, where they took each round and made it almost like an entirely different type of match. And I thought that was good. I thought it was kind of a different, newer way to go about this 3-round system, which I don't really like. Round 1, there was a lot of counters. They were countering each other, but Moose did dominate. Moose did get in more power moves, but it was a lot of countering and recountering between the two. It was really cool, like really good stuff. And of course, after round 1, Moose wins. Round 2 was a lot different. Now this was more like karate strikes, like really hard power strikes. Whether it would be, the slaps or the kicks or whatever. And but that led to a little bit closer round, but they awarded the round to Marufuji. Then round 3 starts, and it didn't get very far because EC3 comes in and hits Marufuji with the ring bell, and then he's going to try to hit Moose, but Moose ducks and gets the big boot to EC3, and he gets out of the ring and walks back. So obviously this is probably going to lead to a Moose EC3 Grand Championship match at some point. Hopefully it happens. What I'd like to see is it happen before the live show, the August 17th show, because what I would like to see, like I don't want to, like I'm definitely starting to get tired of the Grand Championship. I think Moose has done a great job with it. Moose has done a great job in building that title up to make it mean something. But it's the only title that's traveling the world. So what I'm hoping is this, because I definitely don't want to see EC3 have to go every week, defending this title in 3 rounds with the 3-round gimmick. I wouldn't want to see that at all. Nothing against EC3, just a lot of people couldn't do this. Like, couldn't pull this Grand Championship title off. Maybe an MMA guy, this type guy could do this, because that's kind of that's the kind of style that I think would fit this. because that's what they do in the UFC and stuff like that. But what I would like to see is EC3 be the guy to take this off him, say, I'm EC3, I'm not doing this 3-round shit, and demand a new title and declare it whatever he wants to, declare it. The global championship, the new intercontinental championship, whatever you want to call it, international championship, and he demands a new belt whenever they're going to release all the new belts anyway. That's what I would like to see. But after that, we go back to an LAX Clubhouse video, and Conan talks about Patron not joining, lays out a plan to put Patron and Lashley in the hospital by the end of the night. Then we get Trevor Lee versus William Weeks. Loved Trevor Lee's mic work here. So much personality. This is exactly like you started seeing some of that personality, but it was like he was like this dumb kind of like goofy guy there for a little bit. It was around the Feast or Fired match stuff, and I thought it was funny, but I was like, man, whenever you try to make somebody like a fairly like big threat for a title and he's playing a goofy gimmick, it doesn't look right. Like it just to me. You saw his ability, though, during that time on what kind of personality he has and what he can do on the mic. This is, like, perfect. What he's doing here is, like, perfect. He's, like, a sarcastic asshole, and I love it. I absolutely loved it. Because he even goes, and I'm going to wrestle with this belt on because I don't want anybody coming down and stealing this belt. I don't like thieves, which is what he did. I love it. I think it was absolutely hilarious. Of course, during the match, they kind of show like a backstage little picture-in-picture of Sanjay being held back by security and being taken out. And obviously, he was trying to get to the ring to beat up Trevor Lee, and the security didn't want that to happen. Trevor Lee obviously won by just absolutely dominating William Weeks. After the match, though, Sanjay Dutt does end up getting into the building, comes back around through the crowd, jumps the railing, gets in the ring, starts beating up Trevor Lee, but yet Trevor Lee does still escape with the belt. So this should be a really good, fun story, and hopefully at Destination X on August 17th, that live show, we will get a Trevor Lee Sanjay Dutt match. That will be great. After that, we get Ava Story versus Laurel Van Ness. This match was actually really good and a lot of fun. I thought this is probably the best showing of Ava Story since she's come to Impact. That was really good. But at the end of the day, Laurel did win with her badass curb stomp. Then after the match, though, Grado comes out and asks her if she would take him out on the date. Or if he could take her out on a date. And of course, he's giving her, you're the prettiest thing I've ever seen. And I like how, as he's saying all these nice things about her, he looks back at Joseph like, am I doing it? Is this right? Am I doing it right? That was really good. You get a Netflix and chill chant. Thought that was hilarious. And then, of course, as she's getting ready to answer, out comes Congo Kong. Of course, that scares the shit out of Grado and Joseph Park, so they get out of the ring and they run away. So that should be interesting. And then, of course, on a YouTube video that Impact puts out, they caught up with Laurel, and Laurel said yes. So there should be a whole lot of fun to see where this goes. Then after that, we get to the main event of the night, Bobby Lashley versus LAX, or Bobby Lashley and El Patron versus LAX. Oddly enough, what stood out to me out of this whole match is Bobby Lashley. He's in there with two cruiserweights. I mean, there's no bones. I know they're the tag champs, but they are cruisers. They are X Division guys. They are light heavyweight guys. And Lashley did not look like a big, slow heavyweight. I mean, he was in there. Everything flew. It was fluid. It was great. There's no clunkiness. It was great. I mean, he just super impressed me. Love Bobby Lashley. And just the whole feeling of the match, it felt like a really big match going into it. Thought it was really just done up really well. The whole match was great. So many great performances. Again, El Patron just killing it. Those two looked great as a tag team. Like, they actually started doing things well. They didn't, wasting anybody's time with pretending like, oh, I'm not gonna, they don't get along, but they're gonna tag. No, they got along, they tagged, and they kicked ass. And it was really good, but they didn't. But at the same time, LAX didn't look like any less of a tag team by losing this match. I just thought it was really good. It was great intensity from everybody. It was super fast paced, but yet they still gave it almost 30 minutes long. Like they're doing this great stuff with their main events where it's about the last 30 minutes of the show. You're getting the main event. I thought it was really good. After the match, Patron gets on the mic, tries to put over Bobby as well again. Says, "Hey, we make a good team." LAX jumps him from behind. And of course, excuse me. And Bobby Lashley doesn't help this time though. He just kind of puts up his hands and walks away. And the Impact goes off the air with LAX holding down Patron with the flag over his face. So this will be interesting to see where this goes. I thought it was a really good show. I can't wait to see what happens next week. And that's the point. They need to leave you wanting more. And they've been doing it. They've been doing it well, because this is the second week in a row now that Impact has had record-breaking viewership. And that's awesome. So Jeff's doing something right. And I'm just really happy to keep seeing that. It makes me very happy as an Impact fan, a long-time Impact fan. But yeah, man, it should be interesting. We'll see how it goes forward. And hopefully no more Alberto news comes out to be too negative and ruin all this. So we'll see. But anyway, now to my thoughts on Dixie Carter. I don't think it's much of a thing. I think it's odd that they did go out of their way to get her on to do this Kurt Angle 24 on the network. I haven't watched it yet, by the way. I'll probably actually watch that today. Today's my day to recover from last night and just watch wrestling. Get caught up on all my shows on YouTube and different stuff on the network and stuff. But personally, I don't think it's anything. I think a lot of the different rumors that are going around are just that. It's rumors. It's wrestling rumors. It's, oh, hey, she's on. Maybe she's joining. I think that's all it really is. I just do find it interesting, and I find it interesting that she, is like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go to the WWE and do this interview for Kurt. Because they never, and I guess, this is the first time she's not actually part of that other of this company. Because I was gonna say, they never asked her to do it for Joe, for AJ, anything like that. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it necessarily, to be honest with you. I don't like that she's on there because it fuels the fire for all the Impact haters to be like, oh, even Dixie's going to the WWE or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a wait and see. Look, if I'm totally wrong, if she shows up, as Kurt Angle's love interest or whatever the hell is going to happen next week on Raw, or on this Monday on Raw, I'll eat crow, but I don't think that's actually what's going to happen. But again, pro wrestling hypocrites. And what do I mean by that? Well, Dixie Carter's a perfect example. And I put a tweet out whenever everybody was going nuts about Dixie possibly being on Raw this Monday night. A lot of people that shit on TNA and Impact were due to the way that they did business. And specifically Dixie Carter, the way she did business. And that's why they wouldn't watch. So you don't want to watch TNA and Impact because of Dixie Carter. Dixie Carter shows up on WWE TV and you hope she signs with them? That doesn't make any fucking sense. None. Like, Lord. I mean, just this hypocrisy of, just face it, just admit it, people. If you just don't like anything that's not WWE. And if you want to say, well, I still watch New Japan and Ring of Honor, yeah, it's because the WWE tells you to watch those guys. Because Vince always has respect for New Japan, because he just always has, for some weird reason. There was like a friendship with some history there or whatever. And then with Ring of Honor, hell, that's his farm system. So they have no problem. And I was thinking about this whole hypocrisy stuff, because there's always like this double standard with Impact compared to anything else. And I was watching or listening on YouTube to BQ's latest video, the King of the Mountain podcast. Go check him out and listen to him if you guys don't already. But he had a video up talking about how GFW needs the casual fan. And in there, he made a statement just like, whenever he said it, I went, oh, you're right. That makes sense. And he was talking about how the moment that Impact really started getting a lot of, I guess you could say, heat, was whenever Hogan and Dixie come before you, WWE, because then they start getting compared. Instead of making its own thing and doing its own thing, now they clearly put themselves right there with the WWE. Now they're getting compared. That's why their viewership gets compared to Impact's viewership. That's why WWE's merch stuff gets compared to Impact's merch stuff, and TV deals and ratings and pay-per-view buys. And that's why, whenever somebody leaves Ring of Honor or New Japan, it's like it's a step up, or they're moving on. Hey, how good is this? Whenever somebody leaves Impact to go, it's a sinking ship. People are jumping away. People don't want to be there anymore. And it is, because they went out and they were like, hey, we're the equals to the WWE, because we're going to be their competition. And you know what, that is really whenever it started. Yeah, there were always haters thinking TNA was a shit product, or TNA wasn't going to last. But there was never this like big double standard stuff going on until about then. And it's gotten really bad now here lately. And it's, again, Samoa Joe is in TNA, and can you believe they're pushing this guy? This guy's like fat and out of shape and terrible and blah, blah. Now he's in WWE, and people can't get enough of Joe. And it's just insane. I don't know, man. It's just, you see it all the time on Twitter. An Impact fan will say something about the WWE, and then a WWE fan will get on there and be like, yeah, how dare you say that about the WWE? And then, you see arguments, and yet nobody wins, because the WWE guy won't accept the Impact guy's reasonings, and the Impact guy won't accept the WWE's guy's reasoning, and they're both doing the same thing, and they're getting mad at each other for doing what they're doing. So it's just pointless. There's always counters. There's always another reason why you're wrong or I'm right, or you're wrong and I'm right, whatever. And it just really annoys me that that you see this all the time. It just really does. I can't stand it. This just, I don't know. Maybe it'll go away one day. I don't know. We'll see. It probably won't. But viewership keeps going up for Impact. They're doing things right. I can't wait until that August 17th live show, because I feel like that could be like the real, here we go. The rebranding's complete. Here we go running. It's Global Force Wrestling. and the show's Impact, and here we go. Hopefully by then too, we'll know something solid about the El Patron situation, and they can move forward with whether they take the title off of him or not, or move forward. Because they need to do something. The suspension thing was good PR for the minute, but once people start realizing, oh, well, they're not editing him out of the shows, people, get over it. They can't just go and edit things out and still have a coherent show. And they can't go reshoot anything. They rent a film studio, and they do all this other stuff. So they can't just all of a sudden do stuff like that on a dime. The other big hypocrisy thing, obviously, is the broken gimmick situation. WWE doesn't allow their talents to take their names, their gimmicks, or anything else, stories, anywhere else whenever they leave. Cody Rhodes can't even go by Cody Rhodes. He has to go by Cody. Stuff like that. We didn't get Damian Sandow. We got Aaron Rex. We don't get Brodus Clay, which I'm fine with. We get Tyrus. Sometimes it works, but other times, it doesn't. But for some reason, all the fans think that the Hardys should be able to get their gimmick. And they're mad, and that's one of the reasons, another things why they hate Anthem and Jarrett and Impact Wrestling. Because, they won't let them have the broken gimmick. Well, it's not theirs. I understand he might have come up with it. You're telling me that people didn't come up with stuff in WWE? No. So, anyway, guys, that's all the time I have for today. I can feel my voice leaving me. So, please subscribe, hit that notification button, leave comments down below. Let me know what you think of the show. Think of my thoughts. If you have thoughts that you want to share with me, do it. Do it on here. Do it on my Twitter, @Anthem of Impact. Thanks, everybody, for following me, for giving me support and everything else, too. I really do appreciate it. But until next week, everybody, peace.